What was the audition process like? You just dropped a lot in that one sentence.
You sure did. P.S. Another former guest of Questlove Supreme.
Yes,
Patrice,
indeed.
our girl. Yes.
Yeah. So I was playing with Wayne Shorter at the time. So, and Diane Reeves was my best friend. She lived in LA. I met her at that same time when Clark Terry. So she was 19 and I was 10. We were both guests with Clark that time when I told you about the Buddy Rich story.
Yeah.
So when I went to LA and rehearsed with Wayne, or we went to Japan, I would just stop in LA and stay for a while and stay with Diane and Patrice. And Patrice, she was on Joyrider, with us. So it was around that time. And so the three of them convinced me to move to LA. So this was the end of '88. So I went right around Thanksgiving to LA and looked for an apartment. And then somehow it was Narda Michael Walden and Patrice, maybe one other person, that recommended me for the Arsenio Hall show. And so I went in and I just played a couple of tunes with them and I got the gig. But they were like, you got to be back here next week. We start next week, the day after New Year's. So I had a week to go home and pack up in Fort Greene and moved to Glendale, California. But and I had stayed with Patrice while I was looking. So the audition process wasn't I don't even know how many drummers they had audition. But
Sandra, okay, can you play junk? Can you play funk? Can you play jazz? Can you play?
And Michael Wolf was in.
Michael Wolf.
It wasn't any heavy funk. You know what I mean? It wasn't any. And John B was on bass. So it wasn't. But it was a great experience. And I feel like it set me up. More for doing the Vibe TV show with Greg Fillinganes, and that was right. More of a band that could play with anybody. So like we play with James Brown, we play with Aaliyah, we play with Destiny's Child, we play with Rick James, we play with just a lot of. It was an amazing experience playing with all those people. Whereas the first one, we didn't really play with that many people that came on. But you were saying something else. I
fell down a whole. The M bass.
M bass, yeah. So what happened was, they were moving on, and when I look back and when that record we made, everybody had to bring in a song, and Steve had made this kind of criteria for the music of it not being straight ahead and having rhythms or grooves kind of from more modern, because he was into James Brown, but more modern grooves, but with harmony and stuff moving like jazz, but not necessarily in the traditional kind of 2-5-1 way. And things that weren't in that kind of form, like no AABA forms and that kind of thing.
Right.
So what I wrote was more popish, so to say. And if you would listen to it, like my song was the outlier on the record, because I listened to everything he said and I did everything literally in these little sections, odd time signatures or whatever. But it really pointed to something more commercial, so to say, than their writing. And, I know so many, it was like a potpourri of music, but it was probably good that the record never came out. But so I didn't feel so connected. I feel like I was there in the beginning, but I wasn't super connected. And I was playing with Wayne, and I was really just trying to do that gig because I hadn't really played a fusion gig. Like when I auditioned for Wayne, it was 14 drummers, and I got the gig somehow. And that was my first real foray into just, playing groove stuff. But I had been listening, of course, to Weather Report and all of that. And, coming up, Earth, Wind & Fire was my favorite band. You had asked earlier if I was listening to all this other music. I remember the first place I was when I heard Go-Go at a party. And,
excuse me, where'd you hear Go-Go at a party in Massachusetts?
West Medford, where I said it was a Black community. See, it's not.
I know, but it's Go-Go's so localized. That's why I'm like, it made it up there. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Chuck Brown. And then I remember the first time, I was at another one of those parties, I heard Rapper's Delight. It was my first introduction to hip hop. I didn't know what was happening before that.
Right. But, good enough.
Yeah, so like I was listening to all of that stuff coming up. And I just, as a sidebar, I was in Beat Street, so I feel like I was actually.
Wait.
Stop.
Hold on.
Come back.
You didn't know that?
No.
No.
Yeah, I'll send you a little clip. It was just like a quick cameo, but
Wait, when they were doing the ballet thing on stage?
yep.
Was it Raymond? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
but
right.
I was brought in from Medford, Massachusetts by Harry Belafonte
How
to play like this little drum fill.
I'm
basically.
sorry. These sentences are so compound that you give. I'm so
I
sorry.
know.
I was spotted by
into
Harry Belafonte for the Beach Street cameo. What now?
Because he was the producer of Beat Street, and Diane
Forgot
Reeves
about that too.
was playing in his band. So I had made an album that's actually going to come out 40 years later now, with Kenny Barron, Buster Williams, and George Coleman. And I was 16 at the time. So we had just done it. So at this point now I'm 17. And Diane came to Boston with Harry. So I hadn't seen her since this Wichita Festival when I was 10. So we had a big reunion. And I gave her this tape of my album. It was a green cassette tape. And she gave it to Harry. And then out of the blue, he just called. And we thought it was a joke, you know. There's a couple of people that called, we thought it was a joke. Benny Goodman called once too. We definitely thought that was a joke, but it wasn't.
And you just hang up on him like,
yeah, with Harry though, yeah, we were like,
stop
come
playing
on.
on my phone.
Amir, you are making the wrong movies around the wrong people. I'm like, when is this movie come out?
I'm literally, okay. I'm watching the scene right now. I'm sorry. I had to pull it up on my monitor.